Hey guys, I'm Erik Peterson, and I'm a men's dating and relationship coach for skillofattraction.com. And today's coaching video is called Ghosted After a Date. Now, as many of you guys know, these coaching videos is when one of you guys writes into me with a question or a problem in your dating or relationship life. And if I think it's beneficial to my viewers and subscribers, I answer your question in a video. And in this email, this guy wrote in that he's only been with his girl for a little bit over a month and things have been going really well, like they always do, start out that way. But he wanted to take her on a surprise date, so he really didn't give her any information. But it turns out that where he was taking her was a few-hour drive, and she was a little upset about that. And he really hasn't heard from her since the date. So I'm going to go through his email and see where maybe he messed up or where he could clean things up and what he should do from here. But if you guys have any questions, please feel free to send me an email. All you have to do is head over to my website at skillofattraction.com, click on the contact tab and shoot me a message from there. All I ask is that you keep your messages and questions to me rather short and to the point, just 1 to 2 paragraphs max. Otherwise, I'm just not going to have time to read through them all as I get a lot of emails. I do have to take care of my paying clients first, but if you're just a little patient, I usually get back to you within a few days. And like I said, if it's a good question, I will answer it in a video. But either way, you will get either a written response from me or a video response. And don't worry, I will keep all your personal information private, so you don't have to worry about that. But if you guys need to get in touch with me right away, the best way to do that is, again, head over to my website at skillofattraction.com, click on the coaching tab, and there you'll see I have several options for you to choose from. I offer emergency email coaching where I will respond to you within 24 to 48 hours, depending on which option you select. And I also offer bi-weekly and monthly coaching where I will work with you throughout that time period. And most recently, I have added phone coaching for my U.S. clients. Now, those of you that are outside the U.S., just hang tight. I will certainly be adding some sort of way to either phone coaching or Skype coaching, but I just don't offer it right now, but I will in the future. So if you really need to get in touch with me right away, you'll always have email coaching as an alternative. But I will post the links to both my contact page and my coaching page in the description down below. So let's get on to his email. He says, "Hey, want to say love your videos." Well, thanks, man. I really do appreciate the support. He says, "I feel like this girl I've been dating for 5 weeks is either seeing if there could be a future between us or she's ghosted me. I'm saving up for a place, so she always picks me up. And the last date, I had her drive us to the beach, which is around 3.5 hours away. But I didn't tell her. I didn't tell her because I thought it would be romantic and to surprise her when we got there. She told me that she was really frustrated with what I had planned and she wished she would have known so she could prepare for this trip." Well, you had the right idea keeping it a surprise. I mean, I've actually done videos about planning dates, and I always suggest to keep it as a surprise because it builds excitement and anticipation. I can't talk today. And, you know, that build up until the date, you know, it just makes her that much more excited to see you. And it's a lot of fun, too. However, I also recommend that you tell your girl how to prepare. I mean, usually how to dress or what shoes to wear. But, you know, in a case like this where there's a little road trip involved, I mean, it's still okay to surprise her, but you really should warn her that it's going to be a hike. And since she's the one driving, even more so. And, you know, it would have been kind of cool too. I don't know if you did this, but since she's the one picking you up and you go on this, you know, relatively long road trip, it would have been kind of cool to, you know, fill up her gas tank or something because you don't want to put it all on her. I mean, I do the same thing. My girl, she doesn't live very close to me. And when she comes to see me and we take her car, I just fill up her gas tank, you know, since she was the one that drove all the way here and then we're taking her car on top of it. So just something to think about in the future. He says, "As we walked down the beach, I could tell she was distant. she was probably just a little frustrated. And I decided just to let her keep walking and not try to force the conversation. Well, good job. I mean, sometimes when you make a little mistake like this, all you can really do is have the attitude is like, she'll get over it. And she will. I mean, you really didn't do anything wrong per se. I mean, yes, you should have gave her a little warning about the long hike, but other than that, your heart was in the right place. And sometimes when women get a little frustrated or distant like this, you just give it a little time and she'll come back around emotionally. It's really not that big of a deal. I wouldn't put too much thought into any of that. He says, she came back eventually. See? And we sat together and she seemed to be less frustrated. Again, just give her a little time and all that negative emotion will just kind of wash away. We were able to talk, we made out, but we didn't have sex, and eventually we went home. During the car ride, we were able to talk. She told me about her culture. The next morning, I did something I absolutely regret. I sent her a text thanking her, and the text said, instead of pretending that everything was all right last night, thanks for being candid and letting me know that you were frustrated. I really appreciate that. Yeah, that wasn't really a good idea. I mean, you're essentially apologizing after a good date with her. But this is really your anxiety talking. You were just a little worried that this whole thing was working against you, and you kind of made it worse with your text. Because like I try to tell you guys, women are much more intuitive than us guys, so they could read between the lines for things like this. And on the surface, your words that you said seem sweet, but deep down, she knows that you were essentially apologizing and you were worried that she was pulling away a little bit. And this really just causes women to pull away even further because it's kind of weak behavior. It's like, oh, please don't run away from me. Please love me. Things like that. And I know you weren't really saying that, but that's kind of the vibe that she was picking up. And like I said, this is your anxiety and fear talking. And this is why it's so important to get your anxiety and your emotions under control, especially for men, but for women too, but especially for men. This is what causes us to say and do stupid things, because that anxiety makes us think that, oh my God, I have to do something before she leaves me. And you really don't. The best thing that you could have done in this situation after the date is just leave it alone and never bring it up again. He continues, she never got back to me. She never got back to me, and she always responds. And 90% of the time, she messages me thanking me for our date. See what I mean? It really would have been best just to completely leave it alone and let her reach out to you again like she usually does. You said she usually responds, and 90% of the time she initiates. So history says that she'll do it again, just in a little time. He says, the bad date was Tuesday. See, I really don't see it as a bad date. I mean, you hung out, you had fun, you were making out a little bit. I mean, she shared things with you about her culture. I mean, yes, she was a little frustrated and distant about the distance, but other than that, it seems like it was a pretty good date to me. I mean, you didn't have sex, but, you know, not every single date you're going to have sex. So for the most part, it seems like a pretty successful date. I messaged her yesterday, and it's now Thursday. Apparently, her friends and coworkers know about me, and even some of her family, so I'm guessing she does like me a lot. How should I proceed? Any advice would be greatly appreciated. Well, it's also clear to me that she digs you, at least to some degree. I mean, I think that it's your fear that you blew it, coupled with the fact that she's being a little distant, that's causing you to over pursue a little bit. And this is what happens with us guys. And when a girl starts to pull away from us a little bit, we begin to panic a little bit. So we feel like we have to do something to close the distance to bring her back to, you know, being all over us and calling us all the time. And you really don't do that. That really just makes things worse. really what I recommend that you do is just back off for now and give her some space and time to sort through her emotions. I mean, you've already apologized, you've already tried contacting her, and at least at the time of this email, you still haven't heard from her. But that doesn't mean that you're never going to hear from her again. I mean, like I said, this was not a bad date. Maybe she was a little frustrated about the distance that she had to drive, but outside of that, she really can't complain about it. I mean, and if you continue to chase her, you're only going to push her further away. So just let her come to you when she's ready, and this will make you the most attractive in this situation. And if you don't hear from her in 5 days, or 5 days from the last time you reached out to her, just contact her again and simply ask her if everything is okay. I mean, and if she questions you about that, just tell her that because you haven't heard from her for a while, you're just a little concerned. And then just tell her that you would really like to see her again and ask her when she's free. And that's really all you could do in this situation. You do not want to try chasing her anymore. You've done all that you could do. Now it's up to her to come to you. The ball is in her court, essentially. So if you guys have found this video helpful, or any of my videos helpful, I would really appreciate a thumbs up and for you to share it with any of your friends and family. And I'd also really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button down below and tick that little bell symbol that's next to it so you get real-time notifications of when I upload new videos. And in the description down below, not only will I have a link to both my contact page and my coaching page, but I also have a link to PayPal if you deem this video worthy of a donation. So that's it for this video. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Have a good one. Bye-bye.